Alright guys, I'm going to share with you, go over the last tower that I have here of DVDs, and I have actually gotten a little bit more than that, because these are basically all full now, but I'm going to start from the bottom on this one because the top of this last tower is kind of like my favorite section, and yeah, it's not kind of perfectly, they're mixed around and dispersed throughout these, but there's a lot of ones that I really appreciate up there, but so I'll work my way up there. I've got some TV series. Carnival, that's a weird show that I like. Twin Peaks is my favorite TV show of all time, and this was suggested as a show that's like that. It was on HBO, and it's pretty strange and supernatural and different, and they only made 2 seasons, and it was actually kind of ended abruptly, but I need to get that second season. I actually haven't watched through the entire thing, so that's something I gotta do still, but I knew that it was something that I wanted. I would like to get this out to look at it a little better, but it's not gonna work one-handed. Let's see. Oh, that's why. Oh. Okay, so it opens up. It's got all those discs. Quite a bit. Anyway. Couldn't remember if it had a booklet or something in there. I'm gonna put it back together. Might have just torn it up a little bit. A little fragile there. But I got that for, looks like $12 at Capitol Music. Wasn't too bad, I guess. I've got Curb Your Enthusiasm. It was a comedy on HBO. Again, another HBO show. HBO had a lot of good shows, at least for a while. I don't know what they've got now. I haven't really watched this a lot to say if I really think that it's that funny or not. I know it's kind of raunchy and stuff, but I know that it's from the guy who, the co-creator of Seinfeld. And, but yeah, this one I got for super cheap, I think, maybe like $1 or $2. So, you know, I'm like, well, it's probably good enough for that at least. There's a lot of seasons of that though, so I don't know if I'm gonna ever care enough to get all of that, but that's just kind of like a bonus thing. Mr. Bean, the complete series, I think. I really love that. And so when I first started getting more and more movies at work, I was letting someone that I worked with borrow them, and they liked, you know, a lot of stuff that I shared, and it got to the point to where I knew eventually there was going to be some stuff that we're going to disagree on, which is fine. But Mr. Bean was one of those. And I remember she's like, I couldn't really get into Mr. Bean. I was like, what? Really? Mr. Bean is hilarious. It's just one guy basically, and he's basically like a mime because he barely talks, and it's all like slapstick comedy. And there's just all these crazy scenarios that he gets involved in where he just like messes stuff up or whatever. And I find it really comical and genius. And so that guy is great. I love that. And we've got Fargo. I still haven't watched this. Still in the plastic actually, but this is for the first season of Fargo. I really like the movie Fargo, and so when I found out there was like a TV show based on it, I wanted to watch that. And I need to get around to that. But I think there's maybe a couple seasons of that. I don't think there was a lot, but I've heard good things about that. There's just stuff that I still haven't gotten to. Grizzly Man is a great documentary about a guy who lived with grizzly bears, and it's a true story. It shows, you know, actual footage, but also people that knew about him and stuff. And spoiler alert, in the end he ends up getting killed by a grizzly bear. So they're very dangerous animals, even though this guy was an expert, you know. But this is one of the best documentaries out there. There's a lot of really good ones, but this is definitely one that, if you do a search online, you know, for the best documentaries, you'll probably see The Grizzly Man. That's how I found out about it, and it is great. Harry Potter, the complete series. I saw a lot of those in theater. That's really one of my favorite series like that. You know, a lot of people really like Star Wars, and Star Wars is great. And there's other series that people are into, but for me, it was Harry Potter. And I remember seeing the first one in theater or something, maybe the second one, and really liking them. But I was with a girl that was pretty obsessed with them, and she kind of got me into it. And I realized how great they really were. And so that's, a once-in-a-lifetime kind of thing of how good, they came out with these consistently, and all the characters that are involved, and they kept the same actors and everything, and it's an amazing series. It had an amazing finale. I don't think there was really any low points in the entire series, so it's very cool. Friday Night Lights, I'm not really sure if I've watched this, but I love Billy Bob Thornton, and I think he directed this and he's in it. See that football movie. Ranma One Half. This is a couple of movies of Ranma One Half. I really love that series. I love this old anime, this old style of animation, and I guess it's from the creator of Inuyasha. I didn't realize that, but Ranma, I don't know. It's a lot about kung fu or karate, and I don't know. There's tons of different characters. It's comical, but Ranma is a character who got a curse put on him, and whenever like cold water touches him, he turns into a girl. Like warm water turns him back to a guy. So there's a lot of goofy uses of that, but I love that. I just love the style. I love everything about that. See, that's him as the girl with the red hair. That's him as the boy with the dark hair there. Kate, it's about this female assassin anime. It's pretty gritty. I like some of the old gritty animes, like from the 90s. So Ranma is more of a playful, cartoonish, happy kind of thing, and Kate is dark. It involves murder and sex and stuff like that. Ninja Scroll, another dark one, but a classic. One of the greatest animes of all time. A lot of fight scenes in that one. I don't know, some guy has to fight like this group of samurais. He comes on each one at a different time, and they all have like their own powers or abilities or their own things that they do, and I don't know. It's nuts. Spirited Away, a guy that I worked with, really got me into these Miyazaki films. He's made a ton of them. You can usually see a lot of these at Walmart and stuff, and that might be where I bought this one, I'm not sure. But these Studio Ghibli films, these are pretty much every one that he let me borrow. He let me borrow pretty much all of them. He had almost all of them. They were all great. Spirited Away, to me, stuck out as the best one. It's kind of like an Alice in Wonderland kind of tale about, this girl is moving with her parents and she doesn't want to, but they end up going to this place that's filled with spirits and magical, and her parents turn into pigs, and I don't know if it's all her dream in the end or if it was reality, but there's all these weird things that go on, and it's a great movie. I'd watched it over and over and over and over and over. So it's if you're into anime and stuff, that's something I definitely suggest. Akira is another classic gritty anime movie with lots of blood, and it's futuristic, and I don't know. They did this experiment on somebody that kind of gave him powers like telekinesis, and it's a really crazy, far out there film that's like hard to follow. It would require a lot of different views to kind of grasp, but it's awesome that it's so complex. Project A-ko, one of my favorite animes also, and that's part of a series that I would like to have all of them, but Project A-ko is the one I remember. And I think the series is like Project B-ko, Project C-ko, but Family Video, back when they had VHS, used to have a anime section, and I watched a lot of animes through that, and this one's so bizarre and out there again. There's fight scenes in this. It's about a girl who goes to school, and the other girls in the school are like fighters, and I can't remember everything, but it just gets so wacky. So this one isn't really like a bloody, gritty one, but I'd really like to watch this again soon, actually. I don't know. I love everything about this movie. This is probably one of my favorite animes of all time. And Appleseed, I don't know anything about, but this was in there, that big pile of movies that I got for, you know, like 50 cents or whatever, and it was like it's like in a tin case, and so I was like, it looks great, how could I pass that up, right? And I think it is supposed to be pretty good, but I'm not sure what all that's about. I haven't watched that yet. Dragon Ball Z, very popular. I'd like to own a lot of that, but this is a collection of the movies. A 4-movie pack: The Return of Cooler, Super Android 13, Brawly the Legendary Super Saiyan, and BoJack Unbound. I think the Brawly one's one of the better ones in this, but Dragon Ball Z is very popular. It's all about fighting. So, you know, I could always have more of that, but I got this basically. I saw it was pretty cheap, and probably just a couple of bucks or something. And, you know, I wanted to have something from Dragon Ball Z. Serial Experiments Lain. I still haven't watched this, but I've always wanted to, and it's part of a series. I think there's at least a few of them, so there's at least one that I'm missing. But this is supposed to be another far out there anime. I've heard it's just crazy psychedelic stuff that just blows your mind, but that's what makes it interesting to me. But I always saw it at like GameStop when they would sell DVDs, like used DVDs, and other record stores and stuff. It just always popped up. Like, it was always there. It always tempted me. I was like, this is weird, you know, I want to try it. And for whatever reason, I didn't get it. And maybe it was because it wasn't the first part of the series or not. But I've always passed it up, and now I have them, but I haven't watched them still. So it's always intrigued me. Ghost in a Shell, one of the classics. Again, you know, I always put Ninja Scroll and Akira and Ghost in the Shell are, you know, to me, the top 3. You know, besides Project A-Ko's like a personal favorite of mine, and then you got Spirited Away, which is a different kind of anime. But as far as like the gritty, old school animes that I really like, Ghost in the Shell, another bizarre one, futuristic and violent, and it's amazing. And so they made that movie in America, and I probably already covered that I have that, and I thought it was great too. But they're different, but both great. And talking about the greatest of all time, you know, truly, Grave of the Fireflies might be the best anime of all time. And there's so many good ones that I don't even have. I do love anime. I'm not like maybe like an anime nut like a lot of people, but I love it good enough, and I appreciate it, and I understand why people like it. But Grave of the Fireflies, it's like even like Roger Ebert, I think it said stuff like, even just besides anime, it's like one of the greatest movies of all time. And it would be hard for me to see somebody saying that as a bad movie. It's very emotional, it's very depressing, and very sad. It's one of the most depressing movies of all time. It's about like wartime in Japan, and this brother and his little sister that survive, and basically their parents are basically killed, and the town's attacked, and they're like out of food, and they're trying to survive. And it's just like each bit of this movie just gets more and more and more depressing. And if you haven't seen this, I definitely suggest this. This is a phenomenal movie. This is an amazing movie. An amazing movie. So, But yeah, it can be hard to watch because it's so sad. I don't know if it's something that somebody would want to watch all the time, over and over again. But this movie blows me away. Very sad. I've got the Alfred Hitchcock collection, which is really awesome. Brother got this for me, and I haven't watched all this yet. Of course, I've seen The Birds in school a long time ago. I recently watched Psycho not long ago, and we've also got North by Northwest, Vertigo, and Rear Window. And I know that all of those are great. And when I watched Psycho for the first time, being 32, and all that time I've never watched the original Psycho, but man, that movie is phenomenal. So I'm really looking forward to watching the rest of them, and even other ones that he's done. And I know these are like the major ones though, but this is an awesome collection, and he truly deserves all the recognition that he gets for being like the original like king of horror. His directing style and the music in his movies, just the acting and everything is just on point, you know, especially in Psycho. Then I got the Broadchurch series, and there's one more season, and I think I lost a disc on the second season, which kind of stinks because I let my boss at work actually borrow these, and she loved them. And I've told a lot of people about this series. It's on Netflix too. It's amazing. It's basically like a murder mystery drama type show, but like a whodunit kind of thing. But I let her borrow this, and she forgot the DVD like in her DVD player, so she brought it back the next day like in an envelope. And I think I tossed the envelope on my coffee table like I do with a lot of my mail. And then I probably like realized, or didn't realize, you know, what it was, and I was like, oh, this is just junk mail, so I tossed it away, and I think it's gone for good, so I'll have to rebuy that, and I still gotta get this third season. But yeah, this is one of the greatest TV shows of all time, I would say, and I found out about this because I love Twin Peaks, and so some websites suggested this, and it does have its similarities. It's not supernatural like Twin Peaks, where like the Carnival is similar to Twin Peaks on the supernatural level. This is similar to Twin Peaks on the, you know, solving the murder of Laura Palmer kind of thing. And but man, just everything about this show is on point. The second season has a little bit of a downturn, but not much, and the third season picks it right back up again, where like the first season's like perfect, like a solid like TV series, and it's filmed so good, like it's filmed like a movie. But yeah, so I highly suggest that, especially if you're into the murder mystery detective type movies or shows or whatever. But and watch all 3 seasons of it. But it's over now. It's a British show, so you know they're in England. They have the accents and everything. That's the bottom row. So thank you guys for watching. God bless.